am I doing? Can you see me? Do you recognise me? Am I convincing? As you, I mean. Because when you do us, I have to say you're pretty hopeless. For example, that's not actually the sound we make. And then you often make us black and white and striped. There's no such thing as a black and white and striped bee. You never get our hair right. But never mind. You try. I'm trying. So am I a convincing human? The look of me, I mean, we'll get to the humanity of me later. See, I've studied you, like any good actor preparing for a role. Your movements, your speech. Do I sound like you? More or less? Anyway, you don't all sound the same, just as we don't. As long as I'm sounding more or less human, I'm happy. Am I? I mean, sounding more or less human. I'm not asking if I'm happy. That seems very complicated as a human. But now, I need some help. What you would call acting notes. On being human. So that I can convincingly be you. There are some things I still don't understand. I know that as well as looking more or less alike, you're all different. The way we're all different. Although, from the way you portray us, I don't think you know much about us. Let me explain. There are bees who live in hives, sort of like your apartment blocks, and they produce honey, a bit like your factory workers or your office workers. And then there are solitary bees who are a bit more individualistic and live in gardens and hedges and nest underground. But basically, all of us, honey, bumble, mason, carpenter, hairy-footed, morning, sweat, squash, blueberry, leafcutter or longhorned, pollinates everything. Which means that as we go about our business, the planet keeps on going and is healthy. I could tell you a lot more, but that's not my purpose since I'm you. The thing is, I can't figure out exactly what you do. This is, how do you keep the planet going? Which is what every living thing does. For example, as a bee, I look for flowers. So I fly with a purpose. I search, I hover, I spot a flower, I land on it. Then I have a kind of dialogue. I may have been sprayed with something chemical, so it tells me not to stay there. That could hurt me. I quickly go to another flower. On that one, there could have been another bee just before me, so it tells me, sorry mate, you're too late. And then eventually I find the flower, and it's a good one, and I stay, and I collect whatever it has to give me. And as I do this, I spread a little pollen around, so it's happy because that'll make more flowers. The exact way living things reproduce is complex. I don't want to get into it. Whereas I've noticed that you humans do sex pretty simply. No. I'm not going to act out human sex right now. Maybe next time. Okay, here I am, a human. Yes? Now I move. You seem to have a lot of ways of moving. Sometimes with your long legs, and sometimes with your short legs, and sometimes without legs, and rolling boxes. I'm going to try legs. So I move. But I seem to have no direction. See, there's a good flower in front of me, but I don't see it. Instead, I go to that one over there. It tells me it's full of chemicals and dangerous, but I absolutely insist on feeding from it because it's more showy. Why don't I, a human, know what's good for me? And sometimes I see a human, and I try to push it off. That's how you do threat, yes? But why? And sometimes I sort of whiz about here and there for no reason. I think you call it exercise? Jogging. You go in a straight line and miss all the flowers. And sometimes you pile into one of those moving boxes with your short legs at right angles. Like this. Have I got it right? What are you looking for from those boxes? I think you call it motivation? I'm really trying to get into my human character, but there seems to be a lack of consistency. Or is there something I'm not getting? Here, I'm doing the actions, but I can't find their intention. And now, something else. When you see me, a bee, that is, when I'm not moving, I'm still, I watch, I'm alert. But you're often not moving, but not still. Twitching. Like that. Maybe it's grooming. We're grooming too. We clean our legs and antennae a lot, but I don't notice that you're much better afterwards, and you haven't spread anything around you, so I can't see the purpose. Maybe it's evolutionary. Scaring off predators? You seem to be very frightened of a thing you call boredom. Maybe boredom is one of your worst predators. That's it. I've got it. I twitch to scare off predators. Does it work? Back to my purpose. How you find it. How you make yourself. I think it's also called an objective or a use. Why is it so difficult? Acting is hard. Acting human is really, really hard. If I were a bee, advising another bee on their purpose or objective, I think you call it journey, I'd say look for the flowers. They'll tell you everything. Look for the flowers. What's that in human language? You can use the movement you call walking or the one where you're being still. With both, you find plants good things that nourish you. Maybe you call them thoughts, truths, kindness. Something that speaks to you. And then when you found something good in that flower, you spread it around. Finally, you tell others about it so they can make a beeline for it. If I did that, I'd be a happy human. Imagine it's even more a challenge to play a happy human than a normal human. But I'm going to try. I'll practice a bit on my own first. Yeah. It's been very tiring just being a human. So, I'm going to take a break now, and I'll be a bee for a while. But thanks for watching. And if you ever want advice on how to act like a bee, give me a ring.